All right, what a great job the Providence group did. Here's a closer look at the boards, as Christina mentioned in the beginning about the competition. So these two boards that you see up here and on the wall were sent to the CERT headquarters, and they will be judged amongst all the other entries from the country, and then they award 3 finalist positions. And then the students get, if you're a finalist, the students get a paid trip to Washington, D.C. to go down and present down in Washington, D.C. to a panel of judges of architects and construction managers and engineers from around the country. So we're going to all be keeping our fingers crossed for both of our groups. And it has happened before where 2 groups from the same state have gone as finalists, so it could happen again. You never know. We'll see. Their second board. All right, so I had the privilege of working with the Northern Rhode Island returning students. We had a particular challenge of the fact that we only had 3 students. Right from the get-go, 3 students to do this, massive project, a pretty big undertaking. But I was impressed right from the beginning when we sat down and got together. The ideas started flowing and hit the table right as soon as we met. So I was really encouraged by that, and we didn't have any attrition through the whole year. The 3 of them stuck together, and. Unfortunately, we only have 2 here tonight because, as you know, one of the most important things when you're a teenager is learning how to drive, right? So one of our kids is that student, he's at driver's ed, and he couldn't give it up. Martin and Kevin are going to take care of it. So we have Kevin Guerrero from Central Falls High School, and we have Martin Magic from Shea High School, and they're going to walk you through our boards and what we did.
When we were asked to choose a project for ACE, we chose the Universal Design Home Retrofit project because it was interesting from the start, and we knew we could think of beneficial ways to help the elderly and handicapped people. But before we can do this project, we had to find a client that fit the requirements. So in order to do that, we asked around the ACE mentors if they knew anyone that was growing old for the age and would allow us to visit their house. And unfortunately, we did. When we visited their house, we used measurements and laser distance measuring device to find out the measurements of the house inside and outside, which we created sketches for. As you can see there, and basically. We created sketches so we could create a 3D model on SketchUp. And now I'll pass it on to Martin.
Hello guys, my name is Martin. I'm from Shea, as Lance introduced me earlier. And for this project, one of the major requirements of this project was to get an interview a client that would meet the requirements. And once we did get the interview scheduled, we went over to the house, got the measurements and everything, and we created a SketchUp model so we can work off it later. Once we did that, we invited him back over to our mentor location, which is Blackstone, and we kind of sat down and talked about some of the difficulties as you get older, like climbing upstairs, using cabinets, using the bathroom, which also comes into the safety and hazard of the client. So we brainstormed later on as a group to find out what could suit the client and then what could suit potential clients, because one of the most important things of this design is to be universal. So we found out that arthritis can set in a lot of times in most Americans, and using the bathroom, using the faucet, using old style, out of date furniture that's really hard to open, that could become problems. And we eventually came up with our design plan and a set of options that we could give to potential clients to see what they want. And we did kind of we set this up in 3 different levels, and because we wanted to go for the universal fit, and the 3 levels are based on, you know, how much people can afford. Our biggest project would be a complete gut of the house, which would end up costing the most. So we included that as our high-end feature. For a little bit, you know, moderate kind of thing, we offered, you know, some things that are a little more expensive, but are very helpful as you get older. So, say installing motion sensing lights or artificial turf. That could be, you know, it could help people who can't walk as well. The lights turn on automatically, and then that also helps with the green aspect of our work. And then the turf, that helps us with the clients who want to go out as much but can't work the grass, the mower, can't mow the lawn. So we also did that. And then for our lower options, we did kind of like the basics that we could think of that weren't as expensive, like say, just installing grab bars to the bathroom. And after that, we made our model, which is up there, and we kind of did a little bit of everything. So we just showed, you know, what could happen if you were a potential client, as if, you know, installing a new staircase, which comes up to be a little smaller, with a smaller rise, makes it easier to climb, and then off of that, you know, we also came up with exterior improvements, and I'll give it to Kevin, who worked on that specifically.
For certain exterior improvements, we realized that as long as we visited our client's house that he was in need of a new garage, so we just demolished the old one and built a newer one that held more cars. We also thought of a heated driveway, because as you grow older, you don't want to shovel as much and stuff, and it can be harmful to the landscape of your house. So a heated driveway is basically has cables below the concrete, which senses temperatures, and as long as it does, it increases the heat of those cables, and then melts the snow. Another thing that we also thought would be beneficial was, in case our client liked to garden, that we should make a raised box garden that had the height of 2 to 4 feet, because we knew that most handicapped people can reach that level. And another thing we decided to add was the breezeway from the garage to the house, because this will be quite beneficial, because once you get out of the car in the garage, you no longer have to go outside to enter your house, because there'll be a breezeway there, and you can avoid bad weather and such things like that. Another thing would be if you're handicapped, to enter the breezeway, we created a ramp, which increased 8 inches. So we made a ramp of 2 runs, and once I did all that, I created a site plan to describe where the location of the new added things are going to be. And now I'm going to pass it on to Martin to introduce the interior process.
For the interior, we decided that some of the most important things to change would be the stairs, some of the aspects of the bathroom and the kitchen. For the stairs, it was a really hard process, because you can't really change much about the house. Kind of want to fit it in the house how it is. So the original stairs that we had were really narrow and really steep. And when I say really steep, it was pretty hard. And as you can see a picture up there. We then created a new set of stairs that fit in the original, but we had to take away some of the room space from the second floor, which is where we get our new second floor layout. It does cost a little more money to rearrange everything and change the layout of the second floor, but it is beneficial for that client, so, you know, it is worth it in that. And then for the kitchen, we had to change the layout. That's what we decided to do. And then And then it was a little easier on the budget to just change the layout of the kitchen instead of adding new appliances with smaller doors or whatever, and then adding to the budget there. So we would change the position of the refrigerator, which is more accessible, and then in its place, instead of ordering more cabinets, we just made open shelving in its place. And then in the bathroom, we added grab bars. We changed the faucet into a motion sensing faucet, which does help. It's a little techy. And then we also added non-slip mats to the bathroom, which is very beneficial for people who are getting older. So it reduces the hazard of tripping or slipping and hurting themselves. And then one of the things that I worked on was the kitchen, and I decided to create a motorized shelving system, which lowers the shelves of the upper cabinets down to a more accessible level. Hit a switch, you can put your cans, your boxes in there, and then hit it once again, and then it goes back up, and you can work as that way, or you can open the front of the cabinet and use it as a regular old upper cabinet. And those are some of the changes that we did to this specific client. But we do have that list again that fits that universal design. And if a potential client was interested, we do have different options for them to choose, and then write in possibilities for whatever their specific needs are. And thank you guys.
All right, so that concludes the presentation for the second year groups. We're going to move on to the first year groups now. But I ask you all to keep your fingers crossed, and we'll let you know about the results of our fine second year group projects here.